Welcome to Senior of the Month. I'm Barbara Chase, and our Senior of the Month for July 2019 is William Scott.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing, Ms. Chase?
Welcome to Senior of the Month, and congratulations on being nominated for Senior of the Month for this July.
And thank you so much. I'm honored to be selected as Senior of the Month, and look forward to the interview.
Okay, we'll get started by asking you, if you don't mind telling us, what year you were born.
I was born in 1949, October 8th of 1949. I have a twin brother, okay, so obviously it was two births that particular day, and I'm the younger of the two.
And you were born in Montclair?
Yes, Mountainside Hospital, okay, so born and raised in Montclair.
Okay, so having lived in Montclair, you went through the Montclair school system, and did you work in Montclair, or when you were employed, or what did you do?
Well, I went to the through the Montclair public school system. I didn't work in Montclair specifically, but in my senior year of high school, they had a cooperative education program. That being, you go to school a half a day and you work a half a day. And I happened to get a job at Englehart Industries in Newark, New Jersey. So, working in Essex County.
What was the company again?
Englehart Industries.
Englehart, okay.
Their corporate headquarters was in Newark, New Jersey at the time. And this was back in, 68, 69, okay. Mm-hmm.
So what did you do for Englehart for that period of time?
I was fortunate. I got a job working in their mailroom, and at the time, the mailroom was located in the data center, the data processing center. And that's how I got involved with computers, because as I mentioned, my last year of high school in the cooperative education program, I switched over from auto mechanics to data processing. And it was just a good selection and next step to be working and going to school, starting a career in that field. Okay.
So how long were you with Englehart, and then where did you go from there?
Okay. I was with Englehart for about 5 years, from 1969 to 73, 74, something like that there. And I also, once I graduated from high school, I went to Electronic Computer Programming Institute. It was a technical school in East Orange, New Jersey, and got a certificate in computer programming and computer operations at that time. And then I went to Essex County College, and I got an associate's degree in computer science and business administration.
Okay, so proceed.
Okay, and it's just, I was fortunate to get in not the exact beginning of the computer age, but early on in the beginning of that age.
Right.
And by going to a technical school and going to Essex County College and getting a degree in computer programming and operations, I got a job. I left Englehart Industries and went to the Northwood Education, okay, and I worked there for several years, okay, in the field of computer operations, and I also worked for the County of Essex, okay, in their data center, computer operations, for several years, okay, and upon leaving the county, I pursued my career with the Xerox Corporation, okay. And just having a background in computer operations and computer applications and things of that nature, I was very critical in a sales process, because when you're trying to sell a company equipment, you have to understand their operations and the different programs and things that
from the ground up.
From the ground up. So it was continued to be a good fit with my background in computers.
And you had loads of background, because you had lots of training from
the very
beginning.
Very, very fortunate, because Essex County College, was a great college at the time, still is, but they had a very good computer curriculum.
Yeah.
So that really worked out well for me.
William, William.
Yes,
Most people don't call you that.
that's correct.
You have a well-known nickname,
That's
which
correct.
is
Uh,
Foti.
yes.
Okay, Foti. Where did the nickname come from?
Well, coming from a large family, I should have mentioned it was 11 of us all together.
Really? I
Okay,
never knew
yes,
that.
yes, 11, including myself, siblings. And, back in those days, you would always end up with a nickname, okay? Some of it came from different TV programs and things like that. And I believe there used to be an old series on TV, Cheyenne Bodie or something like that, and my sisters and older siblings, they would always label you, and
And they
that's
started calling you Bodie.
and then as you grow up in the community, we would have large groups of kids in the community, so once they knew you had a nickname, that you were labeled,
Right.
that would just
It
stick
was
with
you.
you.
It
Yes,
was yours.
exactly.
Right. That was your name.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, welcome, Bodie.
thank you.
Okay. Since you retired, I know that you've been very much involved in the community, outreach to and active in a lot of groups, et cetera. So you want to talk about some of that and just kind of run through,
Okay.
and then let me and tell us what means the most to you in those groups. Where do you put most of your energy?
Well, I was, being raised in the town and, seeing the different communities and the different levels of diversity and things of that nature in Montclair. And in our particular, living in the Fourth Ward all my life, as I mentioned, been here for 69 years. You had an African American population in the Fourth Ward that was very large over the years, but a lot of hard-working, blue-collar, white-collar jobs, residents in those in the Fourth Ward, and a lot of individuals that were mentors in those days. We had Mr. Brown. And you're my neighbor too, so we have a real special connection because you've seen me grow up, and I've seen your children grow up. So you're pretty familiar with the community. But we had doctors, lawyers, professors, teachers, so a lot of good role models in our community.
Right there in that
right there in
area.
that particular area that we grew up in. So you really had an opportunity to understand right and wrong. Okay, you wanted to make sure you were respectful to your neighbors and your seniors and things like that. So and that was the way our communities were pretty much put together. They always talk about it. It takes a village to raise a family, but if you go back 50, 60, 70 years ago, that was always the case.
The
okay?
village
Yeah,
was
yeah. So
the
that was always a part of
Yes.
our heritage there. So being a member, and eventually I joined the NAACP. Montclair branch NAACP, and I went through several of different committees, the health committee, voter registration, political action. Then I ended up joining the housing commission, and that was one of the real active committees that I really took a liking to because of the former chair, who was George Ryder at the time, who really got me involved in the housing commission. And I also was a member of the Parks and Recreation Committee going back several years ago. So just beginning to get a little bit more actively involved in different committees and within different organizations. So that really grounded me quite a bit there because housing was always important to me. I always felt that your foundation. From the sibling standpoint, if you had decent housing, might be some things going on behind closed doors, but at least if you could come home to a safe setting, at least that was a good start for you from being raised. So that really stuck in my mind. So that's why I think housing was so critical, just across the board, and affordable housing too. Okay, and you've got to be able to afford to, live in a community that's got a good school system. Back in those days, there were plenty of job opportunities. As I mentioned, blue-collar jobs, white-collar jobs. You come out of high school, you had a pick of any particular type of job that you wanted. So it was very important to have that grounding.
Very different from 30 years prior.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
For our community. Okay. most of what you've done has been involved in community activism. That's all volunteer work as it is. But did you have any specific areas in which you volunteered for any groups to do specific things?
Yes, moving into the different commissions and boards and committees that they have within the township, I became a member of the Montclair Housing Commission, and obviously that really got me involved in all the different aspects of development and, within the township. I've been a member of the Housing Commission for over 10 years. Okay, currently I'm the co-chair of the Housing Commission. I've been doing that for about 3 or 4 years. And, just being involved in the Housing Commission, going to planning board meetings, going to council meetings, really trying to understand the commitment for affordable housing in the township. That really got me very, very involved at that point. And I really wanted to make sure if I'm going to represent the community and speak for the community, I really needed to understand what was going on. So I really made a commitment to understand the policies and the ordinances as it relates to affordable housing in the township.
Okay. Maybe the housing thing fits into this question as well. Life lessons learned. Express that to me. Is that all a part of what you've learned over the years about?
Yes. There's I believe a verse in the Bible, and it's the least of these. Okay, the least of thee, and that really means watching out and helping your fellow man. And I mean, it goes back as from a village standpoint. All our families were always interconnected when we were growing up. When our parents and our neighbors and things like that, they always helped out one another. No one was any better or worse. And, I knew people that were professors. Matter of fact, Mr. Brown, who lived on Hitchcock, first African American professor at Rutgers University.
Rutgers.
Okay,
Yes,
so
right.
but their homes were always open to everybody in the community. So he was also a Tuskegee Airman. So we really were very fortunate to have those types of role models. And so and obviously having everyone had so many different children, so we were all friends and neighbors at that point. So we hung out, we were raised together. Life lessons, some of us did better, some of us didn't make out too well, but we had the opportunity to understand what we could do based on the way we were raised, and
Right.
I think that really made a big difference.
Okay. Your mantra, the words that you live by. What can you give me to express that?
Well, I've always been a hard worker, okay? And my parents, they were very hardworking individuals. My dad said, whatever you do, if you're sweeping the floor, do the best job you can do, okay? Because it'll stand out, okay? It'll be the cleanest floor that you've ever swept, and people will recognize that. And I've always tried to work very hard. I mean, and that really is a part of your credibility, okay, and your personality. So, if people respect you for that work ethic, it really would take you, and it really had taken me quite a distance in my career. So, it did make a tremendous difference, okay.
I like that.
And even that I'm retired, I have the same work ethic working for the community, because you've got to be committed. You've got to get in there and do the best you can, because you're representing your committee, or you're representing the community, and you want to be assured that they're understanding and appreciate what you're doing, and that you're providing a service that is really appreciated.
Thank you. I like that. Okay. Your plans for the future in the town of Montclair? I know you won't be leaving the town of Montclair.
Okay.
So
Well,
what are your plans for the...
Well, and
meeting?
God willing, I don't plan on leaving Montclair. It is a challenge thing in our town. We're all aware of the taxes and things of that nature, and you know, being retired, living on a fixed income. You know, thank goodness I have good health, but you know, at some point in time, there's a possibility you could outlive your retirement. Okay, so that's always in the back of my mind. But you know, I'm very fortunate. I'm a member of Rising Mount Zion Baptist Church. Very active in my church at that point. I'm a trustee, okay? I've only been a member of that church for about 4 years, but you know, working hard, they realize and appreciate and had offered me the opportunity to be a little bit more involved in the church, so I've taken on that responsibility. So you know, it's just as long as you stay active, you know, I think that really makes a difference, you know, and I want to continue to do that as long as possible, and you know, raise be a part of my son's family, my grandchildren. I've got 2 grandchildren who live in North Carolina, so I've got an older son and an older daughter that also she lives in Dallas, Texas. So you know, I do a little traveling to visit the rest of my family as well. So if things continue, I think I'll be able to be able to reach out to them and spend time with them as well. Okay.
Lots of luck.
Thank you.
Good luck to you and your family.
Thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Foti.
Okay, thank you, thank you, Miss Chase. Okay.
That is our Senior of the Month for July 2019.